Imagine finishing a routine morning run in your own neighborhood, the same route you've taken for years, only to be stopped by officers who already believe you're a threat. No explanation, no courtesy, just assumptions. Now imagine those same officers losing their jobs within days because the person they tried to intimidate wasn't just another resident, but a state judge they didn't bother to identify. Welcome to Voices Unchained. Before we dive deeper, hit like, smash subscribe, and drop your location. We love seeing how far these stories travel. It was a typical quiet morning in the Silverwood Park District. Most homes still had lights off, and the early sun had barely risen above the rooftops. Ariana Miles had just completed her usual run along Eastbrook Lane, slowing her pace to cool down. She removed her earbuds, breathing steadily, grateful for the early calm before starting her workday. She stood on the sidewalk, stretching lightly and taking a sip of water. Then she heard the sound, tires loudly turning onto the road. A patrol SUV made an abrupt stop at the corner of Eastbrook Lane and Briarwood Drive, pulling up closer than necessary. The suddenness of the maneuver caught Ariana's attention immediately. Two officers stepped out quickly, moving with a sense of urgency that didn't match the situation. There had been no call out to her. She wasn't in the road. There was no disturbance anywhere nearby. But their posture suggested they already believed one existed. The first officer to approach was Grant Mercer, someone Ariana recognized from prior misconduct case files, not personally, but from documented complaints. Still, she didn't mention this. She simply waited to hear why she was being approached. "Ma'am, you need to move along," Mercer said immediately. His tone was firm, not informative. "You're causing a disturbance standing out here." Ariana remained on the sidewalk. She glanced around. No one was outside, no cars had slowed, and nothing indicated any disturbance. "I'm cooling down from a run," she responded evenly. "I'm not bothering anyone." Mercer shook his head. "People called about a suspicious person running through the area. You match the description." Ariana didn't respond right away because accusations like that were familiar, too familiar, from the cases she'd presided over. The second officer, Travis Holt, moved in a predictable pattern Ariana recognized from reviewing body cam footage in past cases. He circled behind her slightly, positioning himself at an angle that implied he anticipated escalation. His hand rested near his duty belt, not drawn, but close enough to send a message. "We'll need to see your ID," Holt said. He didn't sound impatient. He sounded certain she owed him compliance. Ariana kept calm. "You haven't explained what specific law you believe I'm breaking," she replied. "Standing on the sidewalk isn't illegal." Mercer lifted his chin. "Ma'am, don't make this harder. ID now. Last warning before we detain you." Ariana understood the tactic. Pressure, not procedure. "I live on this street," she said. "If you'd like to explain what exactly you're investigating, I'll cooperate." Holt muttered in frustration, just loud enough for her to hear. "They always start arguing." That line, Ariana had heard many times from testimony, from footage, from cases that captured similar behavior. If you've ever witnessed injustice or faced profiling, drop a comment. Your voice might help someone feel less alone. And don't forget to share this video so these stories reach every corner of the world. Mercer tightened his jaw. "We're done talking," he said. "Detain her." Holt stepped forward. Ariana didn't step back. She didn't raise her voice. She simply stated the truth. "Before you put your hands on me, you need to know who you're detaining." Mercer paused. "Oh, yeah. And who are you?" "My name is Judge Ariana Miles," she said. "Ravenwood State High Court." Both officers froze, not because they believed her, but because they assumed she was lying. Holt shook his head. "Right. Sure. Judge. Everybody's something when they get caught." Mercer didn't even pretend to consider the possibility. "That's enough. You can explain your story at the station." He reached toward her again. That's when another voice entered the scene. "Judge Miles?" The voice came from across the street. Michael Reyes, a resident of the neighborhood, was returning from the grocery store carrying 2 bags and his car keys. He slowed down as soon as he recognized her and the situation. He walked closer, cautiously, but with purpose. "Judge Miles, are you all right?" he asked. Mercer tensed immediately. "This doesn't concern you, sir. Step back." Michael didn't turn off his phone camera. "It does concern me when you're detaining a judge who lives in this neighborhood. Haven't you seen her on the county reports and local broadcasts?" Holt swallowed noticeably. The The first crack of doubt appeared. "You're sure?" he asked Michael. "Absolutely," Michael said. "You need to verify her name right now." Before either officer could respond, another patrol SUV turned the corner, this one more controlled, more standard. Lieutenant Serena Vaughn, their supervising officer, stepped out. She scanned the scene, recognized Ariana instantly, and walked forward with a stern expression. "Why?" she asked flatly. "Is Judge Ariana Miles being detained?" Mercer opened his mouth. "She refused to." Vaughn raised her hand. "Stop. Did either of you verify her identity before escalating?" Holt stuttered. "We were about to." "No," Vaughn said firmly. "You weren't. Uncuff her. Now." Holt stepped back immediately. Mercer hesitated, but Vaughn cut him off sharply. "Do it, unless you want this documented as willful misconduct." Mercer complied. Ariana remained composed, but inside she understood something clearly. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a pattern. Within minutes, several neighbors came outside. Phones were recording from multiple angles. Footage spread online almost instantly. That same afternoon, the internal investigation began at the Ravenwood Central Police Department. Lieutenant Vaughn filed an immediate supervisory report documenting unlawful detainment, failure to verify identity, escalation without cause, racial bias indicators, violation of multiple departmental procedures. Body cam footage supported everything. Ariana followed instructions. She never raised her voice. Officers skipped required identification protocol. They escalated before assessing any threat. They dismissed her stated identity without verification. Both officers were suspended within 48 hours pending review. Local residents, many of whom had filed complaints against Mercer and Holt in the past, began sharing their own experiences. Old reports resurfaced. Journalists requested comment from the department. The story spread across Ravenwood County. 1 week later, Grant Mercer, terminated for repeated bias-related conduct. Travis Holt, terminated for escalation and failure to follow protocol. Both placed on the state's list of officers disqualified from future law enforcement roles. Department issued a public statement acknowledging misconduct. Mandatory retraining for all patrol officers was announced. 3 civil claims filed by previous complainants were reopened. Their careers ended not because Ariana was a judge, but because their own pattern of behavior finally had clear, indisputable evidence. A week after the incident, Ariana resumed her morning run along Eastbrook Lane. Same routine, same neighborhood. But residents greeted her differently now. Kind nods, small waves, and occasional thank yous for how calmly she handled the situation. She hadn't planned to become the center of a public incident. She simply refused to accept unjust treatment. Her calm response, combined with community witnesses and body cam footage, ensured the truth couldn't be ignored. The lesson was straightforward. Bias doesn't disappear by being quiet. Accountability only happens when people document, speak up, and refuse to accept mistreatment. What began as a morning jog became a reminder that authority must be checked, and that those who misuse power will eventually face the consequences of their actions. If this story resonated with you, like this video, subscribe and comment where you're watching from. Your voice strengthens Voices Unchained, and your support helps these stories reach the people who need to hear them.